he's a very interesting figure. So I read his book, Apostate, and what struck me was sort of the shared harmony with sort of what he used to believe with what he now believes in a way. So, um, uh, at some point, let me see if I have the direct quote here. Uh, yeah, so there isn't a sense of like his discourse about immigration, his discourse about the exceptionalism of Muslim violence as it pertains to like the immigrants in his own country hasn't really changed in the book. I have a few quotes. Yeah, since the 1960s in Saudi Arabia alone, 6 billion has been spent on worldwide exporting of radical interpretations of Islam. And he cites the Henry Jackson Society. Organizations from Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait also spend enormous amounts of money promoting radical variants of the faith. These variants contain often anti-Western, anti-Semitic, misogynistic, and is spreading fast. Recently, it turns out that Kuwait is spending millions on the financing of certain mosques in the Netherlands, while Amsterdam extremist committees manage all of nearly half of all Moroccan mosques. He talks about beside barbaric terrorist violence, I also saw during my college years how politicians, opinion makers, artists were facing death threats. Moreover, statistics regarding honor killings, female circumcision, forced marriages in which people of Islamic backgrounds are overrepresented were not reasons to be optimistic about the development of Islam in the Netherlands. And then he goes on to call it a kind of whitewashing discourse that the progressives tend to have under the rubric of Islamophobia. So there again, there is this, and I don't necessarily like, this was at the beginning of his like conversion. I don't know to what extent he still holds a lot of these views on like the Moroccan community or immigrants, but it seems that there was a sense of like there wasn't a tension between his views on Muslim immigrants and his now Islam. And he cites again, okay, I don't think I have this quote here, but he cites the discussion that Sheikh Hamza Yusuf has with Roger Scruton as a sort of like proof that there's, how do I say it, that there is a kind of Burkean conservatism that Islam really propagates that the progressive West has sort of forgotten. So I don't necessarily see his conversion like as a radical shift in his politics, but rather again seeing that the conservatism within certain Muslim elements can recreate that idyllic West that like Christianity has sort of like been unable to uphold in a way. And by the way, I don't know if this is controversial to say. I assume it would be for some, but this is something that someone like Rene Guénon mentioned earlier on in his conversion, that the West has sort of lost its soul, that Catholicism is not something that could sort of uphold the traditional values. He was against converting to Islam at the beginning because he didn't want to unsettle the sort of like continuum, but within Islam, he found the soul of like the missing conservative ideals, or the missing traditional rather than conservative, I would say, ideals that the West has long abandoned in a way.